having grown up in a community that was very much centered around church, of course it was the Bible stories that were what was used when I was growing up to teach you what was important in the world. And one of those stories was, of course, the story of the widow's mites. So the story goes that Jesus observed everyone bringing gifts to the temple. And the wealthy put their gifts on display. They wanted to impress everyone with how much they had. And they would give these lavish, amazing, expensive gifts to the temple. And there was a woman who was very, very poor. And she came in and kind of quietly, because she was a little embarrassed, and she put 2 mites as an offering at the temple. Now a mite is really the penny of the ancient world. A mite is the smallest denomination of coin. It was the most common at that point. This was 2,000 years ago. This was what was really used as coinage, as money, when Jesus walked the earth, when time went from BC to AD. It's when all the biblical stories were happening. This is the actual coin. And what Jesus said about the widow's mites is that she gave more than all of the wealthy people because she gave all that she had. So it's just, I have to say, for me, it reminds me of my entire childhood. It reminds me of Bible school. It reminds me of Bible verses. It reminds me of family worship. It reminds me of a community that was very closely knit. It reminds me of the stories of my childhood that my parents taught me to try to help me be the person they want me to be. To actually have a widow's mite, to actually hold that piece of history is much, much more difficult now than it used to be. This is something I've been asking our sources to get for us for a long time, because I remember that they used to be easier to find. And what they've said is that they're 2,000 years old. You can't just make more. And they have been so sought after that they are now very difficult to find. So I was really, really excited that we were able to get you a widow's mite coin. Now I wanted to show you a few of them because I want you to see that this is an actual piece of history. Each of these coins comes from 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago. These were the coins that they used to buy dinner on the way home, to buy a loaf of bread, to give gifts at the temple, to buy an ox for their family, to give a gift at a wedding. These were the actual coins. If these coins could talk, the stories they could tell of people's lives 2,000 years ago. They are handmade, they are primitive, each and every one is different. They're not going to be completely round. They are very rustic, amazing, true, living pieces of history. And we had it put in this beautiful, beautiful setting for you because I wanted the setting to look a little more rustic. And you can see that it's held in place by 4 prongs because these are not exactly round. They're not even the same size. These are all going to be very different, but they are all 2,000-year-old widow's mite coins. How amazing is that? So whether you are someone who would love to hold a piece of history 2,000 years old, or whether you are someone who loves the story and the symbolism of the widow's mite, it's not what you give, it's what you give compared to what you have, because that's what makes it worth something to you. The widow's mite is a symbol of giving all that you have for something that you believe in. And I think that that is just, to me, one of the most beautiful things I could ever think of. And it makes me smile, and it makes me remember, and it makes me think. And I think that is an especially good thing for today.